Some country music to kick it all off. 925. It's my guest of the day, and he's in studio.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
Boman Irani is CEO and MD at Rustomjee, and there's some stellar stuff that I'm hearing about him. Hi, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you, Hrishi K.
Well, I've got to say this. Jimmy Mistry was telling me the other day that you're really his go-to man if he has any problems or a quandary in the development business. It is no secret that, I mentioned to you that Faye D'Souza was also saying how you're really the alpha male amongst the builder community now, which used to be Niranjan a few years ago, Niranjan Hiranandani. How does it feel? Does it weigh heavy on your shoulders, or you're cool with it? You don't take it seriously?
See, very clearly what I believe in is by growing the business, one can actually, by aligning everyone in the business, one can actually grow the business. So towards that, what I try to do is get more and more right-minded, like-minded thinking people to do the right kind of things. And more often than not in our business, people are, very competitive by trying to hold as much information or data to themselves. All of that has changed ever since MCHI CREDAI has gotten together and said information should be given down to all our members so that all our members can then go out there and do a great job and, build on the very basic brand of a developer, which is where we try to differentiate our 1,600 members from the rest. Jimmy is a cousin and a dear friend. I think he's doing a fantastic amount of work, and I think someone who will make quite a landmark, if he's not already made it in certain pockets, will make quite a landmark in real estate development. And Faye, of course, I keep telling her that she's got to reach out to as many people, especially in the corridors of power, to get across the point that development is good for the country. We add to the GDP. And developers, other than, people who just fly by night, become builders because they had a plot of land or just an opportunity to do something. So I keep on reaching out to her and telling her, so whenever she calls me on a show, I'm more often than not happy to be on it.
Rustomjee Seasons, it really stems from your philosophy of life, isn't it? About work not getting in the way of having a life. Talk a little bit about that. Talk about the philosophy, and then we'll get to the project.
So basically, every time Rustomjee decides to work on a philosophy or a lifestyle, and that is what really makes the homes that we build. So this time with Rustomjee Seasons, we've targeted the people who have the need for my space. You are a music man. You might want to go back home and compose tunes, for instance. And you have that little space which is in your house from where you have the pleasure and comfort of working from the, inside of your home. So you have time with your kids, with your wife whenever you need to. And if you just have that extra bit of energy or that extra bit of desire to do something, you can get into that my space and do something about it. Knowing very well that the 4-acre development would take care of everybody, in your family. And this has been the Rustomjee way. We first had, a scheme where we decided that every Rustomjee home would be somewhere where a child who's like, as old as 3 months old, to the time when he became 18, the haven, the place that he would grow up in, learn in, and live a very happy life. So we came up with child-centric homes, and now that's just grown into Seasons, where we thought that the working man who's in his 38 to 45 has achieved enough in life and now wants to follow his creative passions can have that little bit of extra space for himself.
From the 90s comes Real McCoy, Another Night. CEO and MD Rustomjee, Boman Irani is in studio. Don't go anywhere. Real McCoy, yeah, that was what we were grooving to in the 90s. Far cry from the EDM of today. Chairman and MD at Rustomjee, Boman Irani is in studio.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
So a little birdie tells me there's a substantial amount of karate in your life. How many decades of that?
Well, martial arts has always been close to me. I did a lot of judo in school under Shihan, then Pastakia, Mr. Pastakia. And thereafter I was more interested in the more quick contact sport called karate. And for the last 20 years, I think I've been practicing it. Started off with Shihan Parvez Mistry, and today Sensei Jagdish Chawda, who I call Jaggi-san, usually makes it a point to come home and train me. Thank God for him. I at least have the little bit of exercise that is so necessary for all of us.
So are these early morning sessions, and they're every weekday or alternate days?
I try and do it 3 times a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays. Saturdays are usually longer for about an hour and a half, but most days it's about 45 minutes. If I can get that through, I'm a happy man.
Fantastic. The BKC Annex, where Rustomjee Seasons is based, that's an exciting area, isn't it? The whole dynamics of space, It started off as South Bombay, developing that, considering the CBD is in Nariman Point. All of that has changed over the last decade. Talk about that a bit.
Rishi, Mumbai as a city has changed the way it lives and functions, right? At one point in time, everybody got up north and came down south, did a full working day and went back north to wherever their homes were. Today we have CBDs moving out to places where there is the talent, where they can attract the talent, and newer areas, newer kind of building philosophy, more intelligent buildings coming in. Fortunately, MMRD has done a fantastic job with the BKC. I wish they would do more. I wish there were more roads coming in out there. But the entire CBD of Mumbai has in a way moved to the BKC. Tremendous potential now with the coming up of the Reliance, Convention Center. You will see about 10,000 new people working in that area every single day. What happens with that kind of development is, for every 1 square foot of commercial space that gets built, there's a requirement of 10 square feet of residential space, which means that all the areas around BKC will really grow very, very well. With the coming of the MGM Grand out there, with the coming of a mall out there, which is coming up right next behind Maker Max City, you will have a lot more in terms of entertainment that would be required for that region. That region already has some of the best hospitals, some of the best schools. It has some of the best restaurants now. Today people go to BKC rather than going to a Bandra West for restaurants, for instance. With the coming of the mall, the entertainment will be complete. There'll be theaters out there. So you'll be able to live your life in a way that you don't have to travel for more than 2.5-3 kilometers every single day. And we're building those homes. Seasons is where we're building those homes for the people who will in a way be working out of BKC. So quick access to the airports, quick access to South Mumbai. Your working office, you can actually cycle to work every single day if you decided not to walk to work, and live a very happy life out there.
Boman R Irani in studio. We're going to do some pictures, so you could check out Twitter as well as Facebook. It's at HRISHIKAY on Twitter as well as Facebook, and facebook.com/radio1.mum is our official page. If you like the page, you'll see pictures on the timeline. Please do react, and reactions also welcome on SMS. One space your commented name on 53650. Messages and back with the chairman and MD of Rustomjee, Boman R Irani. Old school Phil Collins, Only You Know and I Know, from the masterpiece of an album, No Jacket Required. Boman R Irani is chairman and MD at Rustomjee, and I'm having this wonderful conversation with him.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
You're Secretary of CRIDAI, and a lot has happened, especially in October when you guys actually went on strike. Suraj Parmar passed away. Have things changed? I mean, it's too early to say, a couple of months. Of all those issues, the red tapeism, where have you gotten as far as that is concerned?
Rishi, that was a very sad incident that took place where someone had to take his life with regards to, systematic issues that he was facing. But the government honestly has been very, very proactive. The present Chief Minister and our Prime Minister have got a very, very clear vision as far as where housing fits in the entire development scheme. So for instance, the Housing for All by 2022 requires 6 crore homes to be built across the country just to take care of the housing need, which is, housing for all. And 6 crores is what the government figure is. According to certain other figures, it could go as high as about 9 crore homes. Towards this, they all understand that there is a lot more to be done than what is being done at this moment in time. And towards this, the Chief Minister has met with us more than twice, asked us for our suggestions, is looking forward to very strongly pushing for, in the city of Mumbai, on the 3rd of this December, you will have the Municipal Commissioner actually reading out the ease of doing business circular and, the ways of doing it. So about 1,075 people will be gathering at Birla to understand directly from the man himself exactly how ease of doing business will take place. So 160 permissions will come down to about 50. In that also there'll be time frames that will be made out, and clear KRAs like we work in the private sector are being put across to the various departments, whereby clearly they would be able to define what their role is and then be able to carry it out and be evaluated on those bases. I think we see great times ahead. I think CRIDAI on an all India basis works for the tax requirements of real estate developers. Environment, which is also so important, and most of the good developers, Rishi, you'll understand, are doing a fabulous job with environmental controls. But these need to be reasonable. You can have people who watch over things that are important at the same point of time, do not dwell on things which are in other people's domains, so approvals, etc. So there's a lot of streamlining on that front taking place. Civil aviation, which affects Mumbai a lot, is something else that CREDAI is working on, and towards this CREDAI and MCHI CREDAI are working hand in hand. There's a Sanjay Gandhi National Park, which is the only national park in all of Mumbai, in all of the world, which happens to be in a city. That should actually become a pride of place. That should actually take pride of place in the entire developmental world, and there should be clear norms for that. But because this problem is not faced by any other city, it's only Mumbai and Thane that face this, and MCHI CREDAI is moving with the central government to come up with clear rules which should allow for the integrity of that space, at the same point of time allow for development, which is also greatly a need of the city, and not allow for slums to encroach on those areas. So I'll say good times coming ahead, a lot to be done. This is a very complex industry, and as long as the government works in coordination with the developer industry and takes what is right for the city, you'll see a lot of great things happening in the future.
Up ahead, we're going to talk about Rustomjee Seasons. Pleased to know that Sanjay Puri is the architect. A fabulous job, I'm sure, there. About amenities that really make it stand out. Boman Irani is chairman and MD at Rustomjee, and yes, Sheryl Crow. There goes the neighborhood. Sheryl Crow, some would say her credibility is hampered by being married to Lance Armstrong. But I say, man, look at the music. Amazing. How can you ever judge that? Chairman and Managing Director at Rustomjee, Boman Irani in studio.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
So, Rustomjee Seasons, what really sets you apart from other projects in the vicinity? There's a lot of buzz in the area, we know that, but the Seasons project in particular.
So Rishi, one is that the entire area is being developed beautifully. Like I mentioned, BKC is already the star in the crown. Plus, there is a lot of good development in the area, with a lot of good developers coming in, redeveloping that entire area. The accessibility is great. But what Rustomjee has done is it's actually created the soul for that development. So it's a fairly large piece of development, about 4 acres of land available. We've tried to keep safety paramount. We've tried to keep the flora fauna paramount. But with that, we've created all these lovely, interesting little spaces where you could go to and learn. So we've created centers for children, which we always do. Children are closest to our heart at Rustomjee, and we kind of take care of that. But besides doing the regular landscape, we've created yoga pavilions, we've created rock climbing areas, where children can go and actually build strength. There are pools in the entire complex that will allow children to swim against machines which keep on blowing the water at them, which would mean that they would have to continuously swim and better their lap timings, etc. We have a mini theater where there'll be a lot of interesting educational programs playing at fixed hours through the day. A lot of children have a lot of unguided time, as I see it, with TV, but a parent would be very comfortable sending them out here because it'd be supervised observation. So maybe a Nat Wild Geo or something to do with National Geographic. Educational channels is what we will play out there. There are areas where people can come and try and work on their culinary skills, like a barbecue pit where you could have a little get together and actually come and try out some new recipes. We're creating a lot of indoor games for the children itself. Libraries, people should get back to reading. That's our view, that if you want to expand your mind, you really need to read. Relaxation lounge. There are flower gardens where children can learn about flowers. There are senior folks gardens. The entire thing that would be required, including an outdoor exercise station. Lots of people don't like going into a conventional gym where they're, watched picking up weights. So you get these lovely outdoor gyms where people can just go and work out for 45 minutes. Fitness being something that is going to be driving the future generations. Poolside cabanas for you to rest and relax in. If you're having a party, we're creating a poolside bar. Of course, there'd be separate permissions required for that, but you have the ability, you can go ahead and do that. Besides all of this, there'll be the luxury concierge, which will take care of every need that you have. If you wanted to book a restaurant in the area, you don't really need to call anybody outside, but just on your internal channels, just reach out to your concierge, and then they'd fix that up for you.
Well, bringing reading back idea is a winner for me. Also, the fact that senior citizens can actually indulge in walking along a reflexology pathway as opposed to getting a foot massage. I think that's a spectacular idea.
Well, all these ideas come out of a lot of discussions internally. Rustomjee as a company has been someone that actually goes out to its people and says, what is it we can do to make your lives better? And when it's your lives, it is also about the lives of everybody around them, right? We all want to live in a particular way. It doesn't matter the size of the home. It doesn't matter what exactly, you're paying for it. But what matters is the value that the home brings to you. A place of peace, a place of calm, a place where a lot more energy is created, and a place for your well-being. That is what I think we want to continuously create for the people of Mumbai.
Touche. Messages and back with Chairman and MD of Rustomjee Boman R Irani. Son of Czech immigrants, and look at how he's really taken his career. With Jason Mraz, the remedy, I won't worry. Chairman and MD at Rustomjee Boman R Irani in a conversation with me.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
I want to talk a little bit about CSR. The fact that you've really invested time, effort, energy in adding to skilled labor and their families' lives in their camps. Talk about that.
Rishi, people who build our homes, they usually wind up living in very, very bad conditions. So the first thing we did at Rustomjee was we started providing proper living conditions for those people. Thereafter, we realized that if we want to better our tomorrow, we need to train these people. We need to give them skill sets that will allow them to kind of work in a much better manner, thereby getting them a better revenue per day of their life. So towards this, we started skilling centers under the Rustomjee Academy of Global Careers, and we're training today. We've completed training about 10,000 young men and women who are in various companies that have been employing them. So on the hospitality side, there's the Taj and the Four Seasons that takes our trainees. On the real estate side, there are about 50 developers who are hiring from Rustomjee, and there's been a very good response to this. CREDA has come up with an all-India movement for skilling people under the Kushal, and along with that, Rustomjee is now tying up, and our game plan is to be able, or our goal really is to be able to train 1 lakh young men and women in the next 2 years who will become excellent taskmasters at whatever they do. So we have supervisor training programs, we have plumber training programs, we have carpenter training programs, fitters, you name it, across the board. So these people go out there and actually work for a whole host of other developers across the country, earning a lot more. And I have a philosophy. They say every man wants to make an honest living, but if he cannot, then he resorts to a whole lot of different things. If you give a man the means to earn, which is by skilling him, by developing his skill sets, all of us are basically peaceful animals. We all want to live a long, happy, peaceful life. And towards that, Rustomjee believes in giving back to the industries where it comes from most. And I see great amount of advantage. I mean, while I do it today more for the people that are going to grow, I do it for a future where these skilled people will then be able to make a lot more in terms of add to the GDP of this country by not only working out here but working across the world.
So the Rustomjee Academy for Global Careers, right? RAGC.
That's right.
That's your pet project. Also, the fact that migrant labor comes into this city without any support system. I like the fact that there are creches for underprivileged laborers for their wives and their children to hang out.
Oh, we've been doing this in the first building we built. At that point of time, I had the leisure and luxury to actually walk around the site. And when you saw these little kids playing in the sand and just, putting that sand in their mouth, it was a very sorry sight. So from that day on itself, we kind of, we had the good fortune of being able to start schools, and we kind of brought our teachers into that program. And Rishi, it's such a fantastic thing. Each teacher in our school spends 1 hour in a month towards something that is called the CSR, and towards this she could just train young girls on the importance of hygiene for their lives, young boys towards being able to read and write, telling them about banks, telling them about police stations, just giving them all the social skills that are required. It works out so well. The teachers go back home a lot happier, and a lot of them have asked for giving a lot more time. At the same point of time, this works out as good internal creches from our teams itself. At the same point of time, wherever we cannot reach by ourselves, we tie up with organizations that run creches. We kind of support them, we kind of pay for it, and we're very, very happy with what we do. I believe that a happy man would lead to a happy environment, which would lead to a happy home, which is where your happiness will come from in the future.
A last leg of conversation up ahead with Chairman and MD at Rustomjee Boman R Irani. We're going to talk about Rustomjee Seasons and what sets it apart further, and of course a bit about his lovely wife and kids. Don't go anywhere. It's 94.3 Radio 1.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
Fabulous hour-long conversation with Boman Irani, Chairman and MD at Rustomjee, and the last leg has got to be a bit about his family life. So, your lovely wife Perizad, who's a friend, is now really neck deep into the family business. And I don't mean this family business, I mean Zorabian chicks. How good a businesswoman is she?
Oh my God, she's one of those most diligent people you'll find, Hrishi. She actually starts her day early in the morning with the kids and then kind of, sets them up, goes to school, sets their entire daily program. Kids nowadays have a social life beyond belief. So there's, a boy and a girl, and both of them have their own individual friend sets, and she kind of sets all that up. After that, she's gone to the office by around 9 every morning, and then she's there till about 5. And the kind of work that she puts in out there has seen Zorabian grow from almost like a mom and pop chicken shop to a brand which is being recognized today more by the community that wants to eat healthy chicken. And the one thing I can say for them, and I've been to their farms, they're sticklers for quality. They will just not do anything that is not to be done or anything that is run of the mill. So for an extra buck, I've seen them not do anything so far. Even if the idea seemed appealing enough initially, the entire family is so driven by quality that they're just about, doing the right thing. And today, fortunately, with her branding and marketing skills, she's kind of taken it across to Bangalore, to Delhi, to Pune, to Mumbai. And I think very soon you'll see Zorabian across the country. So more power to her. God bless.
Well, the Zorabian Irani gene pool now has both left brain and right brain. There's a fair amount of the arts, a fair amount of all the business stuff. So the kids, where are they veering towards?
we usually have this conversation, both of us. And both my kids are smart enough. They usually make the choice depending on who's asking them the question, how the question is asked. So my daughter says, well, I think I will work for the chicken, and my boy says, I think too. And then I have to kind of veer them back towards real estate, and where they tell me, why don't you just tell us more of what you do? But it's healthy. I kind of take my kids once a month on a Saturday across to the office where they're just absolutely at home and they enjoy themselves. And I think both of us come from a background that says you do what you want as long as you make fine young people that will change or make happiness your most important stay in life. We'll be happy no matter what they do.
And Rustomjee Seasons at BKC Annex. What also interests me is the fact that there's a sun deck in each apartment. Let's talk a little bit about that before we sign off.
So just to integrate that with what my kids want to be, so we went across to our project Oriana, which is also built in BKC, and my kids actually wanted to move home. They said, Dad, you built such a lovely building out here. Why are we staying in a single building? So we had like open decks in a few of those apartments out there, and they were lovely, and my kids just loved it. And we already had design seasons with great decks in every home. I think sunlight is a very essential part of your being. Vastu Shastra, which is the original architecture, has changed over time, and keeping in principles with the direction of the wind, the light, what kind of light is good for you, where the wind in which seasons is great for you. The buildings have been designed to be placed in such a way that you have the southwest breeze coming in, you have the north light and the east light hitting the maximum portion of your home. Our entire podium has been kept car free, vehicle free, so you have the safety of your children playing out there. If you have pets, you can literally be sure that no car is going to run over them. We've made cycling tracks separately. So overall, every building is, I would say, going to be built in such a way that I would love living in them, and I'm sure my kids would keep on egging me on and say, let's go and live out there.
So has the social networking bug bit you? Are you on Twitter or Facebook? Where can people reach out to you if you are?
Well, I just didn't get onto Twitter. I do once in a way, sit down and follow a few people, but that's about it. Really make no statements of my own. Facebook, on the other hand, yes, I'm on Facebook, and I kind of get a lot of my sayings from there. So basically things that inspire us, and a lot of technology around the world comes through that Facebook channel. So yeah, I think I've got to get onto Twitter soon. As of right now, no, I'm not.
So what kind of music are you listening to, or do you listen to? Are you a retro guy, new music? What kind of music?
You won't believe this, but I'm saying this to you in spite of being on it. I only listen to your radio all the time. 94.3, my favorite channel, and I just will keep on listening to it. The only time I get to listen is when I'm in the car, and my driver knows the moment I sit in, he flips from whatever other channel he's on to 94.3. Thank you.
Listen, this has been such a privilege and pleasure, and best luck to you and to Rustomjee and Rustomjee Seasons. Cheers,
thanks, Hrishi. Lots to learn out here too. Thank you.
Gina G and Fresh.